What are you even doing here? Just gonna hang out? Hi everyone, it's Kalen, and I'm going to share with you a basic walkthrough for using Shotcut for making a multi-tracked video recording for virtual ensembles. Shotcut is a free software, and while I find it to be pretty powerful, you'll also see that it's not the most intuitive interface for people totally new to doing this. That said, I've been pretty impressed with what you can do with Shotcut, and I think it's great for people on a tight budget, such as music teachers. So I've used this for a few virtual ensembles, and I'll share what I've learned. For this video, I'm going to assume that you have 2 or more videos and you're just trying to stitch them together. I'll be showing up to 7 videos synced up so you can see how I solve the problem of odd numbers. Before setting everything up in Shotcut, you have to have a clear idea of how do you want your video to look. One downside in Shotcut is that once you have all of your layers assigned, you cannot change the order of those layers without losing some of the settings. It's very tricky, so plan ahead. Specifically what I'm thinking about is whether or not you have a background behind the videos and you have little squares on top of a background. If you've got 4 performers, are you going to have them 1, 2, 3, 4 across your video, or are you going to have 2 columns of 2 videos? Make those decisions before you get started on your project, and it'll be a lot easier. First time you open Shotcut, it's going to look similar to this. You might actually even have a few extra panes. It could also look different between Windows and Mac. The first thing I want to do, start cleaning up the interface. I'm not going to need this export pane yet. I don't need filters yet. I don't need properties yet. I don't need jobs yet. Now you'll see that all I've got is new and recent, and then this timeline thing here. This is actually a split screen. You'll see a handle right here that lets you kind of drag and resize. You don't need to worry about that yet. First, you need to worry about this, your new project. It's pretty self-explanatory. Where are you going to save it? What are you going to name it? Then video mode. You can leave it on automatic, but I like to set my video size to a specific setting. Reason being is automatic is going to adjust based on the first video you drop in. You're going to have some people using their selfie camera on their phone, some on their laptop. You're going to portrait landscape. That's going to really get in your way later, but you're setting a canvas. I'm going to suggest using the HD 1080p 25 frames per second. It's a 16:9 ratio, or 1920 by 1080p resolution. This makes it really easy to set everything else up with my new project name, my video mode, which sets my canvas. I'm ready to start, so I hit start. Upper portion goes blank, and this is where videos are going to start showing up, but I don't need a lot of space for this. I'm going to take this timeline bar and drag it. Next thing is I need to add video tracks. Right here on the left hand side underneath timeline, you've got add video track. For this project, as I said, I'm adding 7. Very first thing, I'm going to add all the tracks I'm going to need. So I'm going to keep on adding until I have 7. And you'll notice that they are all nicely numbering in order. V6 and now V7. If you're working on a small workspace, one of the things I like about Shotcut is you can compress the height of these by right-clicking or option-clicking on Mac, and then you can make the tracks shorter. I might make those taller later when it's easier, but for now, just to kind of have them take up a little less space, I've now got 7 video tracks that I'm going to be working with. Now I need to get my videos into Shotcut. I've got 7 layers here, and I need to add the videos. I also like my videos to correspond to the order that they're going to be laid out. So if I've got, in this case, I'm going to have 7 videos, and I'm going to do 2 rows. My first row is going to be 4 videos, and my second row is going to be 3 videos, so 4 over 3. I've got my video layer 1 selected. I'm going to open my file. Since this is the one I want on my layer 1, I'm going to come and append the video to the current track. I've got a screen here that actually shows me my audio waveform on the bottom half of this screen. You can use this little zoom toggle here to kind of stretch it left and right. When you press this button, if I don't change layers before I click that button, it's going to add it to the end of this layer here. And if you watch, suddenly I've added it here. That wouldn't have been what I was wanting to do. Now I've got all 7 layers. I'm done, right? Well, not quite yet. As you can see, all of the videos are simply overlapping each other. And that's where setting up the multi-track part can be really tedious and really complicated. We're not going to be working as much down in the timeline, so I'm just going to stretch this down a little bit for now. I'm only going to be working with one video at a time, so now I can see all of these. I'm going to simply hide the videos that I'm not working with yet. And so I'm going through, I'm just kind of hiding all of these videos. That's what this little eyeball button does. See this little red outline on the one that you've got selected if you scroll through here. You want to click filters. This is going to pull up your filters pane. So I'm going to add a new filter, and I have a list of favorites. I have video and audio. The very first one that I'm going to add is going to be size and position. That's already a favorite. My video is going to have 2 rows of different sizes as far as width. I've decided I'm going to divide it vertically exactly in half. Now I'm no mathematician, I'm a musician, but I checked it with a calculator. So I'm going to be doing rows of 540 high. My row itself is 920 wide, and that top row is going to be divided by 4. That happens to be 480, according to my notes where I actually did the math and checked it by a calculator. So 480 by 540 each is what I want each of these screens to be. So I'm going to come in here to the size and type in the 480 width is the first number and 540 is the second number. I've also made sure to leave this setting on fill, because if I do other things like fit, fill, distort, it gets weird, it gets weird. Crop rectangle mode. And you can choose some other crops, but we're just sticking with crop rectangle. You notice it's not in the favorites list. It's over here in video. I'm going to add favorite so I don't have to go over there again. And then I'm going to add crop rectangle. The padding color, you want to change this to an opacity of 0%. That's because if you didn't set your layers correctly, that black padding is going to get in your way really fast. Now the crop rectangle, I'm going to change to the same settings I just chose, the 480 by 540. And you're going to notice now I have a square that seems to match what it is I'm wanting to do. Because I'm probably going to do other projects, I'm going to take a quick little detour here. You see these presets. I've already come in here and done the first couple, but if you're wanting to set another preset, type in a descriptive name. If I were to have a 2x2, 2x4, 2x5, that's what I'm going to change here. Right now, I've already got it set to row 1x4. You'll see it's already set there. Great. Now I'm going to come back to the size and position, because this is going to allow me to drag my performer into that box where I want them to be. And that little dot circle in the middle here is what lets you actually drag. Then yeah, you can simply zoom out, and if you start dragging, you'll notice that it doesn't pass the cropping rectangle. Great. Make sure that the source video fills in that square the way you want. Ideally not leaving any black space around, and now I've got the performer mostly centered in my screen, not taking up more space than what they're going to be working with, and I can move on to the next video. Unhide the second performer. It's a higher layer. It is now masking the previous performer. Typical trumpets, right? Same process as before. Now I already have my filter set up as favorite. I'm going to set up a size and position. Now I've already set up a preset, so it's a little bit faster. Go back to the crop rectangle. Now this is going to be row 1 out of 2, slot 2 out of 4. I've already set this position for the cropping rectangle. This also preset already kept my opacity at 0%, but you want to make sure you keep that there just so that you don't have issues later. Now again, I'm going to come back to this filter for size and position. And then I'm just going to drag and drop until the performer is taking up the appropriate amount of space. Your goal here is to make sure that they're filling up the entire rectangle and you don't have seams. Notice this position spot here. 480 on this left side means where it starts. If I come back and click on that first performer, you'll see that their position of their crop rectangle is at 0 and 0. That means it starts right here, 0 high, 0 wide, or 0 left, 0 from top. When I go to each successive performer on that row, I'm going to need to add 480 to this position spot. If I was going on the second row, I would also need to add 540, and when I change that, you'll see that my performer crop box drops down. The actual video didn't. I have to go back to the size and position to grid it into the crop box, but really, I'm just needing it to be in the second spot on the top row. Now I've got my first two performers, and the process is going to be the same. Across each row, you're going to add 480, or however, whatever the math was for dividing your row by columns. And this one would be a 0, 480, 960, 1440. I strongly recommend setting up presets if you're going to do this more than once, because then you'll simply come to your crop rectangle presets. The order that you add these filters does matter. If you added the crop rectangle before size and position, they affect each other differently. So do make sure that you've added the size and position filter first.